Here we go. Oh, now this thing's dead. What? Why is everything dying? No, I don't need you to be dead. Oh, it's like non-existent on my end. Hold on. It's existing. Let's go. Well, welcome in. I'll give you guys a little box. There we go. Okay. So voice should be fine. Let's go over what we're doing. Yay, we're doing steep house again because I'm running out of stuff to do, and I've been doing this for like 40 hours almost. Oh my word. Flip. Anyway. Hi, and welcome back. Today we're just gonna go into RoadWarden, I guess. Yeah. Are you figuring out how to do it again? Okay. Did that work, or did I not jump with you? Did it jump? I'll just see it on this little screen, hold on. There we go. Okay, made the jump. Good. You're like 30 seconds behind me, which is really awkward. Anyway. They try to carve the world, yet their memories and tales dwell. Their shells wither away, and homes and statues turn to dust. The wilderness prevails as indifferent as time. Okay, let's go. And we keep going, make more people upset with us. Okay. After some time, the two of you are wandering in the forest garden. The thumping of the druid's staff as she walks disappears in the overwhelming noise. A few hunters and other druids are on the verge of sight, looking out for beasts. She breaks the silence. Why do you want to know of the steep house? Before you left the village, the suspicious looks of the guards convince you that the mayor already knows about your stroll. I say she's ambitious and cruel, and I don't want her to hurt anybody else, because that's true. Oh dear, this is getting dark. No, don't die. Come on, as long as you're alive. I don't remember how to fix this. Oh. Okay, apparently it was something else doing it. Okay, it's back to normal. There we go. She may be much worse than that, but our neighbors see her as so protective of her borderlets. She reaches for a rotten apple, and the branches from which it hangs suddenly falls on the ground, even though it's still green. We do not choose our leaders through violence or interrogations, but through the votes of all. I may have my doubts, but I trusted to never seek control, only to advise. You keep following the many beaten paths. The bright, sparse trees are nothing like you've seen in other parts of the peninsula. I'm listening. Do you really believe can stay that she won't cause any more harm? Well, she's about to go attack the bandits / white marshes. You know I'm trustworthy. You must admit what happened in the village was terrible. That she won't cause any further harm. She stops and observes the carcass of a hedgehog. Judging by the tracks, it was butchered by a badger. Then maybe it may be true that so far you've had not added fuel to her plans. She crouches slightly, giving the shell a closer look. Ants, she says, then steps around it. My neighbors gain a lot from her past choices. My judgment means a lot to them. But she showed she will protect us, even if the price is too high. price of people is too high, though. I mean, white marshes. We've already talked to her about this, you know, how impulsive she can get. There must be someone else who can lead your tribe. I showed the letter to the guild. She wants to bring the right ministries to this place behind your back. You must be aware how vengeful she is. Aren't you worried about the future of your gatherings? I show her the letter to the guild. She wants to bring the right missionaries to this place behind your back. She glances at the parchment from your hand, then looks at you, listening to your story patiently. The more you say, the shinier her eyes become, closer to a venom-like green. Once you're done, she rubs her staff, looks at its tip, as if she's measuring it before a strike. I see. No matter her gestures, her words are filled with pain. Let's save again. I'm like quick saving like nuts because I don't want to make a mistake. Aren't you worried? I'm gonna guess I can say all of these, but I'll say we've already talked about her. You know how impulsive she gets. There must be somebody else who can lead your tribe. Yet she's trusted for her wits and talent. Interrupted by a screeching bird, she seeks it amongst the leaves. The Thalius you've met is shaped by many sorrows, but her laughter has not always been as dead as it is now. Many of us owe her our lives. Since then, our gathering promised to not interfere with the choices of our neighbors. She takes a step back. Even when we realized her determination hides cruelty and stubbornness. No soul dares to oppose her now. Your inaction helped her plans to blossom. It's time to do something with responsibility. How did she become mayor in the first place? Her parents were adventurers. They stayed with us after a few grand journeys, brought many treasures and sacks of dragon rings. Realizing the illness of her weak shell, they wanted her to have a life of comfort without bloodshed. While others dug in the soil or trained with spears, they taught her how to count and read, then sent her with a caravan to Halliburton. Used their ties to squeeze her into the guild, but the war disrupted her learning. She returned, and said she would protect us from the Southerners as long as we trusted her. And she did, with poison and betrayal, but she saved all of us. She was ready to protect you in desperate times, I get it, but now her decisions can only bring destructions. You guys need to find another way. Let's do this one. Her steps grow more confident as she nods in agreement. Okay. Does that mean we did something good? Can I hard save? We're gonna hard save. This is a saving fest because I don't want to do anything bad. Okay, so you must be aware how vengeful the bandit is. She's going to seek a way to punish her, and your villager stands in her way. She'll burn it to the ground. Aren't you worried about the future of your gatherings? You grow in comfort from what I've seen. You are detached from the teachings you shared with me, or the ones I've heard from the RoadWarden. We pay close attention to the teaching of our ancients, and are not too proud to see the seasons are not the same as they used to be. Animals come and go, some packs were broken, and new tribes move in. Our village is bound to the change as well, and we will be blind to think our teachings will never have to grow. She stops, and looks back in the direction of Howlers, though you can only see the trees, trunks, and shrubs. 'Tis true that these changes occur too fast for my heart. I don't think I did anything. Let's continue. Her eyes are like a violent ocean wave. You misjudge her. Even after the raid, she paid us little attention and traded with our hunters. She knows Thaddeus cannot be reached. You share what you've learned about her determination, and the patience shouldn't be mistaken for forgiveness. She glances at the scouts and meets your eyes. I doubt she'll find a way, but there is a few lost souls by her side. Yet, I must agree, we may face a sorrow price for all the deeds we are looking away from. You have to admit what happened to this village was terrible. She slackens her pace. I must. I know the Druids played a role in the raid. The village feels a curse today. You act as if your neighbors have acknowledged their deeds, but everybody treats it like a secret. Younger generation isn't aware of what happened. You know more about these days than I do. Well, everybody does treat it like a secret. Let's do this. It's Ma, the elder from the cave, last request before he left us. I'll spare you my wrath, he said, if you keep the children's heart unstained, until they reach a certain age. The forest speaker ought to help them find a lesson in your greed and cruelty. She stops in place, observing a red-dotted mushroom. She crouches and digs it out with a knife and puts it into a sack. When Thaddeus made the decision that his certain age would never come, I did not dare to oppose her. Our neighbors trusted her. The fields are now cursed. As the gathering, we did not agree to the raid, but we agreed to protect our children, our siblings, and cousins during their strike, with magic and advice. A long pause. After we breached the walls, Thaddeus forced us to keep pushing. Some elders were hurt, others caved in. Her voice cracks. Okay. Now you have the opportunity to fix your mistakes. Not at all, she says harshly. The dead will not return. Let's try the other one. Does your gathering regret helping her? We do, she says softly. Some were broken by it. That's all I have to say. You move forward as her staff rhythmically hits the ground. Let's hope we're good enough, clean enough looking. My clothes are slightly torn and worn. Nice. You know, I'm trustworthy. I won't try to sabotage your neighbors. She stops in place and turns towards you, holding her staff by her side. Her eyes are warm like a spring day. She smiles gently. I trust you, and so do my neighbors, but I'm not sure what you're saying is true. But I doubt you're lying. Okay. So she trusts me, but she don't trust me at the same time, so there's a borderline thing going on. Hi Wade, welcome in. It's nice to see you. How's your day going? Or how was your day, considering it's the afternoon now? Maybe it's the afternoon, I'm not sure. Anyway, let's finish this. What's your decision? You approach a giant You approach a giant oak, older than any of the other trees in the garden. It's surrounded by a trail of shoes and paws. Yet it's oddly quiet, even though there are dozens of birds in its crown spread amongst the branches, like the faithful on the temple pews. Elphys reaches for the long claw marking on the bark. She strikes them gently, makes a fist, and steps away. The cuts are now thinner, sealed like a wound, forming nothing more than a dark scar. Suddenly, the clatter of the creatures tear the sky. You look up. The singing, the growling, and the tweeting seems to have no cause. Some of the birds raise their heads, others make tiny jumps or spread their wings. But they uphold their choir for a good few minutes. long after you and your companion leave them behind. Let's go back. Thales will not give us time to organize. I need to speak to my gatherings right away, but I will be the one to speak with my neighbors. You're doing the right thing. I do what I believe will cure our village. Her voice is cold. Having a city folk encouragement only makes me doubtful. Oh, nice. I do not know your goal, but at least they seem to align with ours. On your way to the gates, you discuss the steps to come. Judging a mayor in power is no easy feat, not to mention the seeking punishment for those or the selected successor. The best you can hope for is that the locals will agree to hear your argument and allow the Druids to prepare for a winter court. Oh yes, winter now. Most of what you have discussed includes the steep house. You are not needed for any of it. Elphist concludes. Let's get to it. Fingers crossed this works. I had to look this up on how to actually do this one. You have a headache? No, it's not good. Drink some water if you can. Wait, I'm sad to hear you have a headache. And I know you're looking at a screen right now, but that's probably not the best idea. It's best to stay off screens if you have a headache, because it makes your eyes, gives you an eye strain. I'm doing good. It was raining today, so it's cold and blistery now out there. I'm happy to not be outside. But I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. I hope your headache clears up though. Get some water. That's like my number one tip, is just drinking water. Oh dear. There's a lot to read. And I returned to Reginald at the end. Reginald's waiting for me. 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's an exhausting hour, and in this time you say only a few words. The amount of spite and reapproach dwelling among the locals are hard to predict. It was not only the gathering who stood united behind Elphus. She knew exactly who should be asked to speak out. The souls held in melancholy and guilt for 10 years now, as well as those wounded during the raid, or the earlier or later events, many of which you've never heard before. Thalius, accused of pointless violence, putting her pride above the well-being of her people, was calm at first, even eager to turn the entire case against you. But the trust you've earned and your familiarity with the raid's cruelness shielded you from her manipulation. Finally, it came to a vote. Our guard speaking. For now, we see her as innocent, but suspicious, announces the selected guard. The court and judge will occur in the middle of winter. Until then, she remains our mayor in name only. The crowd disperses from the islet. If Thalius could curse people with her glance, he would only have a few breaths left. The others either seem puzzled or suspicious, whispering between themselves, pointing at you, at the druids, at the guards, at the inn. Still, in their voices you recognize more excitement than worry. Return the Reginald. Oh. Sorry, Reginald, I called you a vegetable. Yeah. Oh, judge. Bring a malefactor to judgment. Oh, nice. We got an award for that. Yay, we did it correctly this time. Your mount welcomes you with a hearty snort. You pat its neck. Whatever happens now, you leave this place between you. You leave this place different than you found it, for better or worse. Yes. Now we have to figure out what I'm doing. I guess I can go tell the bandits. I still have to give flowers and I still have to deal with this guy. It's fine. We have to talk to that guy still. Let's travel because I don't want to spend the night here. Oh no. Let's talk to the druidess. The building site hasn't changed much since the last day of your visit. The druids are already gathered in the semicircle as they were expecting you. What's going to happen with the village after Thal's trial? Not an easy question. She may live with us as an honored elder, or be sent into the woods with nothing more than a shirt on her back, like a traitor, or be acknowledged as a fair leader with good answers to our doubts. She raises her head on her staff and gives you a tired look. Whatever happens, our neighbors will take peace from it, knowing not one is above judgment. Well, let's travel. Who do we need to go here? We need to go here, and we need to go here to talk to these guys. So let's go down to the palace to the north, where we can pick up stuff. The lights are promising a refuge, and the guards have bows and spears in their hands. Some rush to the gate only to close it right after you ride inside. Bored with life, RoadWarden, one of them grumbles. Haven't you noticed it's already dark? I get off my horse and enter the inn. I go to the innkeeper. Do you have stuff? Show me your wares. I have 3 food rations. Sure. Thank you. So now I'm going to sleep. That's okay. Sleep in a room. I wish I could have given the cloak to the enchantress, because I don't really need it. That's all I need. Let's go outside and travel. Let's try going to these guys. I don't know what's happened. I return to the band's hideout. Looks like there's been a skirmish here. We might get attacked. You spot a glimpse of a spearhead amongst bushes, a staff right next to it. They approach the trail quickly. I reach for my axe. The armed goblins, with one brown, grey, black furs, cease their onslaught a few steps away from you. Some of them move on all fours, while the others stand upright and lean on their weapons, balancing as they will. They carry clubs, pointed sticks, rusty spears, broken sword, and a cartwheel. They're fearfully observing your mount until one of the creatures steps forward and screams angrily. The colour is remarkably similar to the ones who were fighting over the deer. Oh, nice. I need to get out of here. Oh. Okay. So I thought I could blast them, but I was not, and I got a reward for that, apparently. With too many beasts to fight and not enough space to turn around, you're forced to rely on your palfrey's speed. Keeping the axe low, you knock away a few creatures that almost catch you, not before they land a few hits with their blunt weapons. Once we leave the pile of forest, I wash Reginald off. I wash you off, a little bit. A boulder is sticking out of a pond, only a few steps away from the bank. On top of it, you see a human-like shell curled up, with a long feet leaning against the rock. The creature is a head taller than you, with grey skin, no hair or genitals. Their feet are webbed, their legs are disproportionately long. Its yellow eyes, with long black dots in the center, are round and large as the bottom of a mug. You draw your attention away from the subtle nose and ears. Excuse me. It's looking straight at you, holding a long finger of raw fish. You make it stop in the middle of its next bite. I don't like this. I get ready to defend myself. You size up until the monster resumes its meals. The fresh blood is spilling in its hands. As it keenly follows your movement, it swallows the thing whole without chewing. I ride away, but don't give it a chance to sneak up behind me. Wow, there's a lot of things in this forest. Also, welcome in, lurkers. Nice to see you guys. More souls, and thank you for the like, Wade. I hope you're resting. While somebody watches you from one of the trees, whistling, it's the sound of hooves that lure a few people out to the gate. The highwaymen nod to you politely, even though their weapons are in hands, they keep their distance. Enter the hamlet. Alia is walking around the shelter, lost in her thoughts. Let's tell the RoadWarden dead. She turns around. At High Islands, I assume. Seeing your slow nod, she looks at the rocks on the walls and reaches to her heart, not noticing that she's scribbled, scratching only her mail. He turned his back on all his allies and ended up killed by his own cockiness. You try to describe how you found him, but she's already continuing to scroll. I don't care. I should go. Okay, they don't care about the other place, which is fine. Let's go back to the canyon. A painful roar of a large creature reaches you from the east. You look around, but the meadow seems secure. I ride to a different part of the forest. Where would you like to go? Let's go to the gate. You find a new segment of the road. It seems to be shorter, but you need to go some distance on foot. Cutting the dried out branches, the tree crowns have been merciless. Hardly any ferns or grasses manage to survive in the shadows. You spot a 10-year-old dark tree that's about twice your height. Yet it looks like a sapling when compared to the giants around it. Its thin branches are leafless, hanging like the limbs of an exhausted worker. Right under the tree there's a dead red boar, too large for you to lift it. Its tusk could be worth a few coins, but the scavengers could show up any moment. I examine the area. A tree is a bit away from the others, weak or dead. You walk around it, spot a few bloodstains on the trunks, near the only hollow. You don't notice any wounds on the boar, at least not from a distance. There are no signs of any illness, it's not young, and its heart could have just stopped working. I spend a few moments observing the trees. Even a stronger gust of wind doesn't move the thin branches. Suspicious. I make a torch and I set fire to the trees, because the thin branches, something's on the branch. I light the tree on fire. Let's light the tree on fire. I keeping an eye on the well, I do anyway. Keeping an eye on the weird plants, you pull out a wooden stove and examine the rags tied to its ends. Then cover them with oil from your tinderbox. You unpack the flint and the linen char cloth, and the cube-like piece of harsh pyrite. Thanks to a bit of luck, you make a couple of sparks quickly, and you hold the flame in front of you. The creature doesn't roar or howl, but the movements of its limbs out of the wood look like creaks. It swings them furiously, aiming in your directions. Its roots start to move, and slowly at first, but soon starts to crawl towards you. Save. I swing in front of me, trying to set a few branches on fire. The limbs are nimble and unpredictable, ending with a few things like finger-like twigs. You do your best to scorch at least some of them, but to no avail. At one point, the entire leant forward and grabs the torch, pulling it so forcefully you almost end up within its grasp. I let it go and run away. Reginald needs no encouragement. Holding your breath, you get into the saddle, then take one more look at the monster. It swings its branches and roots in all directions. Its thick limbs are now longer and as nimble as the tentacles of a sea monster. One of them is holding your torch, while the other is swinging the dead boar as if it's a doll. At least we're alive, eh, Reginald? Burn the tree, yeah. I was, oh my word. You're approaching the monkey's territory. The dwellers around observe you, jumping, yelling, but they keep their distance. Endure it and ride forward. Your ride goes mostly undisturbed. A few missiles. I got show mercy to many beasts and animals. Nice. I got a new achievement. So I often show mercy to the beasts and animals I face. I became quite a forager. I survived more confirmations with hesitant creatures than most travelers. Okay. Nice. I got another achievement. Let's go. I wonder if the entire bar will fill up. Probably not. Your ride are mostly undisturbed. A couple of missiles fall on your bags or hit Reginald's sides, but that's about it. You reach the edge of the troops' territory in no time. And while the monkeys stay loud, they don't pursue you anymore. Maybe they'll get used to my presence. Hopefully one day. We'll become buddies. Oh, it's a tree ant. Yeah. No, it's a tree. How do you say the word? Tree ant. Yes. Yeah, it's a long noodle thing. We're not gonna disturb it anymore. It's fine. The long shadow cast by the cage protects you from the sun. Quintus is nowhere to be seen. You wait for a minute or two, and he finally opens the gate from the other side. Salutations, Warden. What are you, a lord of the wilderness, or? I'd like you to open the gate. Are you really sure? Maybe another time. He looks around, startled by a bird. Let's go to the pelt field. It's getting a bit late. A tiny vole as brown as the short grasses is washing its fur at the edge of a puddle, but it jumps into it once it notices your arrival. Tyrus is at the edge of the scrap, greeting you with a polite nod. The creatures idly hang from his arms, resting on the ground. How did it go with your parents? He steps away, raising his eyes, and doesn't mask the pain in his voice. It didn't. They didn't take it. They told me to take it with me into my pie. Talk about Oceus. Of course. Tell me about him. I was never close to him. When I left the village to learn spells many years ago, he was but a priest of yours. Once I returned, he came forward like a prophet, shouting with Zal, warning the tribe needs to prepare itself for whatever. When his followers brought the first dead shell to the village, they were still in a minority. Well, ready to fight for him. And we can't either throw them outside our walls or... He waved it off. Dear emptily you dispute, empty threats. You can tell how it all ended. You can help me understand necromancy better. He blows out his cheeks, moving the lips left and right. Well, not the druids, he speaks slowly. Perhaps the monks in the mountain of the west, beyond the old Pagus. Only they've survived time to learn about things they don't need to survive. Well, they all hate me, so unfortunately I can't. It's an ent? Okay, thanks, Wade. I was wondering. Well, I'm glad I didn't attack him then. Even though he wasn't a friendly one. Well, I did kind of attack him. I wanted to set him on fire. So. Well, these guys hate me, so I can't talk to them. And I still haven't figured out a way to make them like me. Unfortunately. Okay. Should I be afraid of him? Do I need a weapon? I don't want to fight him, and I already have a weapon. Next question. Are you sure you can get me in? I'll see you in White Marshes. Let's do this. What else? I need you to open a path. Then, you know what I need you to do. He smiles. Food ration be fine? Very fine, he licks his lips. Once he spots a piece of jerky among your gifts, he reaches for it right away. With a full mouth, he snaps his fingers, muttering something with satisfaction. He's very interesting, I do like him. I don't think I need anything else. Let's travel. Oh, wait, I need Gabby's fixed. Who fixes that sort of stuff? These guys don't. It'll take me 1 hour to travel over there. It's like 4 hours. So, these guys can't fix it. So it'd be these guys. I'm gonna have to pay him more food because I haven't thought about this. I should have done it when I was at the pelt, but I didn't think of it. Actually, no, my armor was fine. I should have gone here instead of going in there. Oh my word. Beef jerky is break time, yes. Never actually had beef jerky. I wonder if it's salty as people say it is. You approach the open gate, then dismount swiftly. A guard approaches you, ready to take you out to the stable. Good to see you. Good to see you. How is your adventures? We gossip for a bit. Maybe there's an evil spirit around. The curious locals gather to take part in your conversation. Recently, the fresh cheese spoiled very quickly. Maybe there's an evil spirit around. I'll let him work in peace. So go to the tailor. Can you fix my stuff? Fine. That's a lot of money. Thank you for that. Can we travel again, or do we need to sleep here? I think we do need to sleep here. Sad life. Can I sleep without getting mugged? That's my question. Well, I'm gonna sleep on a Malfrail pelt. Yeah, I did get attacked. That's great. They wake you up with a pinch to your face. You hit the floor. Taking a few kicks to the stomach, one to the chin, a hand holding your skirt, a few others your legs and arms. They carry you downstairs and you're crashing against each step, blood flowing to your nose. I try to kick somebody. Nice. Another hit to you cough on blood. You cough and gasp for air. Your skin rubs against stone pebbles. You're not sure how much time passes before you're thrown into Howler's Creek. You want to curl up in pain, but you have to keep your head above the surface. The stream is shallow and cold, and you soon climb up the banks, soaked and shaking. You flinch when one of the guards step forward, but after he gives you a good look, he puts his hand on your side. Thalia's message delivered, he announced. The group follows him deeper into the village. A few people observe you from a distance, but your tired eyes don't recognize them. You return somehow to the dark hall. Alex holds a candle and says nothing, but offers you dry clothes. Your face begs for it. I go back to sleep with a knife in my hand now. So I thought something like that was going to happen. A bit curious about it. It's warm, you wake up, check on Reginald. Let's leave the square and just travel. We won't really stop by here again until the trial's over, I guess. We'll go back to here and give him more food. Yep. You can have my rations, I've got plenty of those. Yep, okay. So, let's travel. And let's go to the White Marshes and see if we... Yeah, that got rough. It's okay. Let's save. We'll fix this one up. I go to Halibus. He hardly spares you a glance. I can't just go to the place. Do I have to go back to you? What's wrong? What am I not doing right? Let me waste another hour traveling and go back to you. What am I not doing right? Are you shrieking at me in? He giggles. You underestimate how many secrets a warlock knows, and how many favors he carries. He grabs and shakes his amulet on his chest, as if they were meant to explain something further. Should I be afraid? Do I need a weapon? He's old, weak man. Wouldn't hurt rat, but the only way I know is going to convince anybody is to help us, as if you're clear and just as harmless. You leave your axe by your bags, he says. Like an order. And you doubt he's noticed the dagger in your boot. Okay. So, can I or cannot not go talk to him? I have so many questions about how to do this. Let me talk to him. Oh no. Okay, it's still like. Haha. Radio. He meets your glaive both harsh and condescending. You have no doubt he won't take any accusation lightly. A woman from your village asked me to bring her some lost savings from the east. I thought you should know about it. I don't want her to suffer any consequences. He takes a long pause and tilts out. Tell me what she looks like. You give a brief exchange, and he glances for one of the guards to approach him, and whispers something in his ears. I'll speak with her, he tells you, but you're doing the right thing. She's in the tribe's debt, and doesn't deserve the right to leave before she does her part. Doesn't trust me enough. There we go. It would be anger her, but it would help hit Nana's trust. How do I like activate this bit? What? What does this tell me? Help me if it's worth his time. Waits me to fall asleep and then okay, he wants me to go to sleep. That's what's going on. You mean last night I could have come here and okay, we're gonna go and waste time, guys. I'm gonna go waste time, okay? We're gonna go look for fruits and waste time over here. Oh my word. Well, I needed to repair my garrison anyway, so. Spend a few more days, there's no fruits to pick here. Nice. Where did I put my fish trap? I don't even remember. I have a fish trap somewhere and I don't remember where I put it. You spot a corpse of a small monkey at the side of the creeks, getting devoured by a dozen of buzzing flies. Many more insects are flying nearby as you stand on the north right. Takes some time. It takes you longer than you would have hoped for, but you manage to cover yourself with an armor of at least 3 layers of linen. wool, leather, wool, and hemp. Only your eyes and a single finger remain uncovered. Once you get closer forward, countless creatures bestow you, making you instantly close your eyes. They're striking the cloth, covering your mouth, hitting your shell like squish. Nice. As fast as you can, but the insects stick to you for a few minutes. The red marks on your fingers start to burn slowly, and Reginald switches its tail angrily as if it turns its head to the left, observing you with one reapproached eye pinned its ears to the back. Look around to make sure nothing will try and jump on you, and you decide when you're safe. You take off the suit. Unless you find an easy way to protect yourself, the insects will keep slowing you down. Let's travel. At least I kept my blood, yes. What? We're still gonna travel there. Wait, I can't travel there. Oh no, there we go. Everything's fine. I still was able to travel there. A toad tries to disappear in a pond, but ends up being swallowed by a small salmon that was waiting beneath the surface. The roots of the creepers are raised at an angle, moving up and down slowly in the rhythm of a heartbeat. Nothing stops me from riding ahead. The fingers are uncovered. Which finger? I'm not sure, it didn't tell me. Let's sleep. Oh, I'm hungry. Let's eat food and then we'll sleep. Now we can sleep. We can also save now that we're out of that. Okay, we're gonna sleep in a shed. The door opens gently and you recognize Sarius's silhouette, even though he has no creepers with him, together with a few hooded figures behind this threshold. Once he makes sure you're awake, he also covers his head. Quickly, we have little time, he whispers. Dress up, axe behind. We'll move your things into the startle. Just in case, he stands up and, just like his companions, starts to observe his surroundings. Already prepared, you only need a few breaths. Finally, your hand touches a dagger in your boot. Let's save, because this action could kill me, but I'm gonna leave it behind. The dark figures spread. You sneak through the dark alleyways with no one dead or guards in sight. A curious girl observes you from the open door, until one of your guides pushes her head inside, telling her to go back to sleep. You approach the flooded grasses, step on the wooden beams, and climb up the squeaky stairs. At the entrance, Tharis is taking a deep breath and looks at you encouragingly. Friendly. I knock gently. Let's do friendly, knock gently. You wait a few breaths, then you hear a hoarse voice of an elder. Not hungry. Forgive me, but I need to speak with you. Come in. You push the door, making the weak flames dance under a touch of cold air. The man looks at you from the bench, speaking with concern, like a patient to a child. I have nothing to forgive. He swallows his saliva, struggling to speak. Join me, and let's be lost together. The chamber is humid and smells of sweat. Nice. A single wax candle that stands beneath the brassed hourglass, dangerously close to an open codex, whose pages are covered with fresh letters, while the large collections of parchment must be of great value. The man has hardly any possessions: humble bowls, cups, writing instruments, enough candles to keep him company for the next 10 days. You glance at the single pouch displayed on the floor to sleep on. You have to curl up your legs. Speak to me, Warden. The priest's voice crackles like a falling branch in dry woods. and tell me of the destruction you're planning. You respond, he turns away. Or else would my enemies let you in? Or else why would my enemies let you in? To bring me higher pie? Do they know I would not be moved by you? Tell me your side of the story. My side, he flinches, then raises his wrinkled chin and clicks loudly as if he's munching on his tongue. What may I say that you don't see? We had to save our people, and I was shown the way to do so. 'Tis not a tale, but our lives. Your voice won't make him a better or worse, for what you can see. My voice won't make them better or worse, for what you can see them carved by the past. He pulls the neckline of his robe, revealing his skinny neck and chest. You think of the other people you've seen in the village. In this weak light, his yellowish skin resembles the very parchment he uses, tightly scratched over his shell, which holds no trace of fat. The hair in his ears, okay, why am I looking at his ears? And on his ink-stained fingers is thick and neglected, while he shaves his face, and the scab makes him look resembling an ill infant. After every breath, he squints his two-colored eyes. His feet are dirty and covered with scratches, while his linen cloth is a little more than a rag. You must be aware the undead are dangerous. What should they... We save a lot, because this is very fun. You must be aware that the undead are dangerous. When left to themselves, like the flames of a hearth, he rests his elbow on the table, putting a finger to his lips and rubbing them gently. They are the night that follows a shell's day, but like lightning or the wind, merely a part of our world. I don't want to say the F at the front of that. You say it as if you're waiting in the dirt with your Pannonia alone. I saw your rituals. Once you're gone, the undead will be out of anybody's control. They will threaten everybody in the north, and you're playing a dangerous game. The way things go, instead, you stole the undead from other families. I'd forgive a starving child who stole a dropped plum. He starts with conviction, repeating an answer he has well memorized, but seeing a frown, his voice grows cheeky. Or move it into a pillaged house. I take no pleasure in my deeds. Well, I've been right to stain my innocence for the sake of others. But you're also hurting the memories and beliefs of other families and tribes. They deserve to be respected. Those matters are not for a single soul to judge. It would make more sense in your eyes, but those things are getting more complex for you to dig into them. There may be consequences you can't yet see, but that are just as valid. I feel like this is a bit contradicting in itself. These matters are not for a single soul to judge, that's correct. But you're also hurting the belief of other tribes and they deserve to be respected. I doubt he cares. They will band you and seek their revenge. Probably knows it already. Let's do the middle one. You say so as if I put a single thought into it, and not many years of prayers and readings. His voice, I don't care, that doesn't count. His voice's words, while clear, are uncut by his doubts. He looks at his hourglass, moving quietly. Okay, so he has doubts. We're going to hard save. So, on the empty slot. You say it as if you're awakening the undead with your pernanium alone. Once you're gone, there'll be nobody in control. You're playing a dangerous game. There are other things that can be done without necromancy instead. You can support the enchantress's work and use one of her golems. Golems. He waits for you to carry on, but has to think about an answer for quite a few breaths. I cannot say I've heard about it, but even if what you're saying is true, we've hardly anything to give her in return. I'll discuss it with Halvus. Okay, so he's considering it. That's good. He is now considering it. That's good. Good move. Once you're gone, the shell will awaken. You're playing a dangerous game. At first he twitches as if your words have punched him, but then he twists his lips in anger. And who taught you those old tales? Are you saying you've never experienced any troubles in your creations? Everyone in the city knows it. He has an hourglass, so if we tell him about the monk. A local monk. He scoffs and says something in like the old speech. The thought you're not sure what exactly. The people of old Pagus have no zaps to spread the doubts about us. They lacked faith to help us when we needed them the most. The roads guided me so far with their lights, and the path forward would be clear to me once I need to see it. I don't think that worked. Reload. You're not sure if you notice that you avoid his question, for his voice grows stronger, and he raises his hand on his side proudly. 'Tis true, my people don't die as much from work anymore. The awakened shells would be unseemly, but we've had no incidences. Yet, you add, but he spares you only a snicker. I wonder what would happen if I lie. Hold on, I need to try lying. Let me just lie. His hollow cheeks slightly relaxed. Then you were taught by the untaught. The necromancer slid before the emperor. You asked if he could name anyone amongst his followers that might be capable of replacing him. He pauses. I think that was good. So, his hollow cheeks relaxed slightly. Then you were taught by the untaught. There are ways to protect ourselves from mistakes, the necromancers who lived before the Empire. I have no solo power over these shells. Others will carry my magic forward. You ask if he can name anyone amongst his followers who might be capable of replacing him, but he pauses, his lips. You say it as if you're awakening the dead with your magicka alone, but I saw your blood rituals. Is it part of our world as well? He moves his shoulders with an embarrassing sigh, but then he looks at you with his dark eyes and regains his composure. Suffering? Of course it is. Blood rituals are not suffering. We need an intervention against this person. Anyway. The wounds inflicted upon yourself will lead to your death. You don't feel replenished when you see what you're doing. The dead are drying up the cups, the corpse as you wake. It touches your consciousness. Blood, magic, and necromancy might be a part of our world, but they are plagues and phantoms. We may need to accept them, but it doesn't make them right. That's true. But also not true, so I'm not going to say that one. Don't you feel replenished when you see what you're doing? The dead drying up cups, the corpse you awaken. It must touch your consciousness. The wounds inflicted upon yourself will bring you death. Blood magic is part of our world, but they are plagues and phantoms. We may need to accept them, but just make them right. He stares into his codex, tapping his fingers against each other. Though there is thoughtfulness in his silence, if not approval. Move on from this topic. You save again. He moves his quill aside and covers his inkwells with a lid. His loud breaths are growing impatient. Should a priest of the rite be involved himself in such forbidden rituals? He gestures for you to sit down next to him and puts a hand on your shoulder. The many types of inks he uses and works has left colourful dots on his fingers. Yellow, green, blue, black, red. 'Tis not as big a thought for a layman, but you can trust me. I put years into studying the right will. They're guiding me through all this. I revealed the truths, and the united seekers were hiding in their anguish. The words they mistook. One day you may understand this too. Let's lie again. I stare into his eyes. How dare you doubt the strength of my faith? He doesn't look back, so I've won for that, because he doesn't stare back at me. He doesn't look back. I do. Prove me wrong, then. You listen to the meddlings of his belief, but with little understanding. A few of his ideas seem to be completely detached from one another. And as you point this out, he asks you to repeat his argument back to him, proving you fail to remember the crucial details. After a few moments of back and forth, he raises his chin. A mocking twist curls on his lips. Now you see the right's mistake, taking years. Not a pastime for a warden. Let's load that. Jeez. Sorry, it's all the loading and saving. I crashed it. You're the priest here, I guess. He smiles gently and pats his shoulder. I only guide their prayers and offer my rituals. I can't read anyone's soul, his feet scratching on the ground nervously. I'm sure they have different thoughts, but I'm grateful for our mayor. He's young and impulsive, but honest and brave, willing to change for the better. And yet he's very stupid. He is very stupid and not mature. He's very young. Your people are hungry, they struggled. I already took a stance against you. That's why I made an end. I saw how he treats the awakened shells. He's cruel and cynical. He avoids your look. You say this much, yet not knowing a thing of it that shaped his thoughts, or what happened to him over the years. He wounds nobody, his voice grows stronger, and doesn't deserve accusations, as if he pauses, stroking the edge of the codex. Some feel worried around him. Your people walk hungry, they struggle. He straightens up, leaning against the table. Oh, that's not a good one. Let's load again. Oh, I saved before I did that. Thaddeus already took a stance against you, that's why you made him an outcast. It was his own choice. His raised voice turns into a loud cough, then a defeated grunt. Yes, there are a few of us, but those who remain aren't suffering, nor do they hold their bellies to the beast. Those who follow me will be rewarded. Some are already planning to leave, apparently. Then let them. I build no cage, no dungeons. People change homes all the time. It's good for the children. It's clear, even though he doesn't believe his quiet words. He avoids your look. You say this much, yet you don't know what shapes his thoughts or what happened to him over the years. He wounds nobody, his voice grows stronger, and it doesn't deserve an accusation, as if he pauses. Towards the end, some feel worried about him. He touches the tip of the candle, making a tiny puddle of wax, and releases the sulfured wax. You might have a good reason to do. He squeezes your eyes and sizes you up, but you can still turn away from this path, forget, start anew, reaching the point of no forgiveness. But try to see this situation from the perspective of the other tribes. I have faith in you. You'll find But I have faith in you'll find a better path forward. With me around, the peninsula is no longer helpless. But you can still turn around from this path, forgive and start anew. Which one of these? Forget the path and start anew. He looks at you in silence, and you can't decide which eye you should look at. We aren't safe yet. Long roads connects us to our neighbors, and we may never be. You can't grasp our decision and what we went through. You're a child, taught to ride a horse, to fight, to kill. Actually, I haven't killed a lot. To carry out the will of the masters. Not to overcome the death of your tribe. Save. You really think the city experienced no hardship of its own? You might be right. Before I came here, I did my best to learn about your past struggles, the days of hungers, the way that howlers take away your timber trade. I want to understand your situation. He looks at you with an open mouth, until, finding no response, his eyes and shoulders soften. His stained robe looks more like a grain sack. You leave me speechless, city folk. Your ears are open. I hope you'll forgive my grumpiness. I may be pushing this too far, but can't you see I'm trustworthy? I don't wish you harm. He squints his eyes, but also gives you a warm smile. I can, RoadWarden. I may not agree with some things you said. His gentle voice is interrupted by a weak cough, which leaves droplets of blood on his hands. Distracted, he wipes his hands on his robe, mixing the blood with dried ink. I guess we're done. He spares you an absent glance and turns round, stepping away from the table and falling on his knees. The cabin is so tiny he leans his hands against the walls. Why? There we go. Why do you let me hear this voice again? You think about the response and realize it's not you who's currently being addressed. I carry all the answers you taught me, yet I'm so torn. I beg you to give me a steady hand, but now I'm lost, burnt by things I asked you about. I let him finish in peace. His exhausted long prayer gets harder to understand the longer it goes on. The preacher's accent gets thicker, while at the same time he adds more and more words from Aldira's tongue, mentioning names, events you've never heard of before, as if his worries need a lifetime to unveil. You may not convince the man to trust you, but you've woken his long-buried fears. After what feels like an hour, then sobbing, the snorty man uses a bench to support his sore legs. He stands up and approaches the door. Come, RoadWarden, it is time to fix all of this. Hey, we didn't make him hate us. Let's go. Thank you, Otius. Let's dress up. gust of the night wind eases your breath. Only then do you realize how much sweat has gathered behind your neck. I wasn't worried too much. While both of the stairs and the pond surrounded by dark figures who brought you here, the news has already spread. The locals, most of them wearing nightwear, are gathered with candles and lanterns, peacefully observing the building. The prophet, who needs to lean against a walking stick, raises his free hand. The candlelight touches his back, but his exhausted face is covered by darkness. I was wrong all this time, he mutters. We need to go back. The silence follows, then from all directions a mixture of relieved gasps and excited shouts. Demand to explain what's going on. Otius walks down the steps, while Tharius glances for you to get closer. He leads you away from the commotion, making sure the cloud keeps its distance. We walk in silence. You end up back at the shed with your belongings intact. Good job. Bah, we now have to do our part. His sad eyes contrast his gentle smile. Don't step outside before dawn, or we've a rough few hours ahead of us. We'll guard the building, don't worry. Without waiting for your response, he joins his hooded companions. Because of the loud gathering, you can't hear what they're talking about. Before I sleep, I block the door with a barrel, making sure a blade is in my hand. Let's hope we don't get attacked and dragged out into a pond again. Or a creek. Oh, I completed it. Okay. Stop the necromancers. Nice. We've got another badge. Let's go. I've convinced the prophet of the White Marshes to ban necromancy. Yay. You wake up in a terrible stench of burning, rotten flesh. Once you leave the shell, you head to Rachel quickly. Who's sleeping, hugged a corner as it trembles. You find no wounds on it, nor any issues with your bundles. As you spend a few moments helping it to relax, you finally realize there are no undead in sight. The pyres beneath their gathered corpses are far away, back in the back of the village, but the flames and smoke are visible, even from a great distance. There's a large group surrounding Otis's house. The rumors reach you on its own. Soon after the first awakened shell was touched by fire, the priest collapsed. He now mumbles through his visions, but doesn't wake up. Poor guy. Go to hell of us. You find him on the top of the wall, helping a few locals placing bricks. You wonder if the construction will ever finish. You realize the village is now so quiet and empty, you hardly recognize it anymore. Halvis looks down at you, then turns away. Put us in a lot of work, Warden. All of us. Get out of my face, you're pretty much troubles. You're still the mayor of this village. Don't turn away from the only road warden you have. He lets out a joyless chuckle. You're the second one this year. May the right keep us safe from them, and make your bloody end. There's a quiet moment, a few angry scoffs from the other villagers. You walk away. He doesn't like me anymore. Very well. Well, there's nothing I can do. I made somebody else angry about me. Let's go to these guys. Hi, Quintus. I'd like you to open the gates. Are you sure? I am. I'll go into the forest. You lift the bar on your side of the gate, waiting for Quintus. You hear him pressing his foot to the wall as he climbs down with the help of his rope. Getting on the ground swiftly, he gives you a serious look. From the open gate, safe travels, Warden. I return to the burnt hideout. Guess what, guys? You don't have to fight anybody. I did all the work for you. Aren't you so happy? You reach the gate without issues, but the trail of blood makes you suddenly stop. A few people approach the gate, talking about the deer they just caught. The highwaymen nod politely towards you. Even when their weapons are at hand, they keep their distance. They go to the hamlet. She welcomes you with a grin and leads you deeper into the hamlet. Our watchers saw the commotion. I'd rather see the necromancer pay the price for his deeds, but at least he's away from my land. I'd merely prefer to not put hope into your judgment. Okay, I should go. Let's go back here. What should we do now? Oh, I'm being attacked. Never mind. I'm being attacked by slugs. Okay. slugs are crawling up and down the canyon, now aware of the rook that is surrounding around the meadows. What to do now? Well, these guys hate us. These guys also hate us. So there's a lot of people who don't like us. Okay, we're gonna save. I still have to give the flowers to the enchantress, which I'm not gonna do. So, she doesn't get her flowers. I needed that. Give me that back. Because those they make a poison which either gives you really powerful magicka or they kill you. And I don't want to do that to her. So I'm not going to give them back. Exploring the peninsula. Well, I can go talk to Talia back at the Pearl to the North, or I can go to the creeks. What should I do? I don't really want to leave this place. I like it. I've spent like 2 months here. Yeah, 2 months now. Let's see if I can convince her. Oopsie, let's go to the east danger folder. I'm gonna be attacked again. Reginald trots forward. What the fuck is this? Keeping its eyes on the pond with one of the logs breaks under the hooves. You let go of the reins and land on the rotten wood. While your palfrey squeaks neither pain or surprise, falling on its side. A broken leg. No! No! Not my horse! No, Reginald! Why are you doing this to me? You sigh with relief and Reginald walks in place, angry and afraid, but a healthy shell. Some of your belongings are spread around, but they are alright as well. A beast violently swishes its tail as if it's murdering any flies in its way, stomping with hind legs. The sounds of cracking wood echo to the water. It tosses its head and looks around. Its ears are pinned back. I let it smell the oil. You swash it in the air, Reginald's head's away, paying it no attention to the scent. Oh. I calm it down. It shakes its head and takes a step towards you. I move slowly, showing it my hands. It gives you a glance and another one, observing your movements. As you freeze with your hand, rage, Reginald makes a turn, trusting you won't attack it as if it's seeking a threat behind it. Its eyes are still pointed backwards, but are no longer pinned back. They are listening. I'll have to try. I'm not good at this. I pat its head, it's too far away. I stay calm. That didn't help. I don't like that. Yes. I give it time to look around. I pat its head. No. There's there's a specific order to do this, then I'm failing. I give it time to look around. Close to panic. This puzzle is so hard. Reginald has a broken leg. Yeah. He stepped on a wood plank and he broke his leg. Now he's scared of me. Also, thank you for the like. I don't know who did that. Oh. Hold on, I'm dealing with something. Alright. I'm coming back, promise. I should thank you for the like. Yeah, Rachel got a broken leg and stepped on a plank. Let's try asking it. He keeps looking around, too afraid to pay any attention to you, considering grabbing the reins and forcing a power freight to obey you, but it could ruin his trust completely. I don't want to do that. I give it time to look around. You step away. Why am I stepping away? Just give it time to look around. Don't step away. Move your hand, hoping to draw its direction. Let's get to its head. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. Give it time. I do the exact same thing again. Straighten up and give it a gentle smile. Reginald fixes his eyes on you and makes a final snort, ready to run away if you turn into a monster in disguise. Yeah, and I pat you on the head. You reach out with open arm, but it tosses heads away. At least it didn't bite you. You gesture for a moment. You gesture for it to follow your movement with your hand, encouraging it with a warm voice. As you step closer, it flinches but doesn't move away. You say, "We got closer." I pat its head. You reach out with an open palm. It stands still, allowing you to touch around the nostrils. Then it steps closer. You rub its skin, still speaking to it. You want to try the oil now? You open the flask, moving it near the horse's nose. Reginald takes a few deep breaths. Hundreds of flowers were used to fill this little vessel, but it was a good purchase. Your mount shakes his head and nicker. I give it time to look around. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, sad. Okay, after a few moments, You step away, allowing Reginald to get familiar with its surroundings. It then lowers its head, observing the hole that trapped its hoof. The large animal has made a hole, pressing the soldered wood in, without really breaking the logs. After a few moments, your paraphrase seems to be more curious and afraid. Reginald keeps its head low and its ears are slightly pricked forwards. The tail is loose. It flicks after you grab the saddle. So you give time for it to take a deep breath. Soon you're ready for the future. You pat further journey and pat your paraphrase neck. This must be a random thing I can run into. Dear oh dear. I'd be so sad if Reginald ran away from me after all that. Let's go to here. She doesn't want to talk to me until later, I believe. The golem lets you in. Great changes are happening in the west. The White Marsh is now free of necromancy. She starts to twirl her head and first looks at you, then at the ceiling. I knew about a few empty ones there, but it was really much of an issue. The tribe would burn the corpses when they stopped needing them. You described the weight of the situation. She grunts in approval. I was wrong then. Soon afterwards, you carry on with your tale. She lowers her head and takes a deep breath. I've had enough. Save. Hard save about the flowers. I brought you flowers. After her eyes widen and she moves closer to you. I've got the dragon bones here. Her outstretched hand is shaking. They're not good for you, no? You've got no reason to worry. We had a deal written. Her bottom lip is shaping. The hunger in her grey eyes makes you lean away. I can't. I'm not hurting you for a coin. I'm sorry, but I can't. I'm not hurting you for a coin. She looks away. A strand of hair hides her angry grey eyes. I knew what you were doing. I can't do anything else. I wish I could give her the cloak. I feel like that would be, like, nice if I could give her the cloak. Let's go up to Foggy's. I do like Foggy a lot, and the Creeks people here. They were very nice. There's a hint of a strange stench and fresh claw marks left on the ground. A large salivant entered the yard through the lake. The foragers are carving a new set of throwing clubs. Approach the foragers. Okay, I have nothing to say to them, so I guess I enter the tavern. There's a strong scent of boiled fat coming from the stew in the cauldron. It could be used to make more herbs. Foggy is sitting on the stool observing the dishes in a bucket. They are moved, washing themselves without her touch. She welcomes you with a cheerful shout. Hello, love. It's good to see you in one piece. They've abandoned it. They did. She waits for your nod, then bursts into laughter. Splendid, love. Tell me everything. Right when you start, she gestures for you to sit down at a table, using her hand and spells to pour you both a cup of decent mead. She listens patiently, then leads away, scratching her chin with her wrist. When I was younger, we had it easier than you do now. Her wide grin carries more charm than playfulness. Before the war, there were all these patrols, warden, monks. Not many folks were eager to solve their issues with force. We adventurers only asked for a target, the pay. No one asked us to judge human hearts. But I don't envy you. She points at you with a cup. Trying to hold both an axe and your wits, but I'm glad you did well with them. Time for me to sleep. Maybe time for me to go. Can I go to the creeks? Yes, I can. Take me 30 minutes. Go up the road. A group of woodcutters are here. Rowing corpses from the river, both the past and the yards beyond the gate bears fresh bloodstains as well as claws marks. Let's go talk to the carpenter. He orders a few kids around, and one of them gives him a confused look. He squeezes his belly. What are you waiting for? There's work to be done. He smiles and puts away his tools. Welcome back, friend. Good to see that you're staying on the roads. On off is much safer. He stops in his works and looks at you in silence, waiting for you to carry on. Can't say I was familiar with all of this, he says once you're done with your tale, but I'm happy you managed to avoid violence. You're truly our RoadWarden friend. I remove the bloodstains and I jump into the stream. I'm hungry. Why am I hungry? Save. And feed myself then. Character. Ah, okay. Worryingly high. Okay. Artist, you reject. Yep. Lives, some. Sewing experience, you have absolutely no. Gambling, you have slant. Rightio, approach her. Let's leave her alone. Let's sleep. Yes. I don't know what to do. I think the ending which I got before is when you get them to trust you, you can stay here, you can live with them, and that concludes the I want to live in the thing. But I've got the I need to find out and help as many people as possible for this exploration, so let's go back with Talia. She's waiting for me anyway. I have a day to spare. Yeah, I can work for money. Let's work. Nobody wants to buy animals. Turns out you don't have to do much to get your day job done quickly with little difficulty. The locals won't need my service before day 25. Okay, what's happening at day 25? Shall I find out? Shall we sleep? It's day 25 winter or something. At least Reginald can rest up a bit. Let's travel. Go to the monastery, people, I guess. Check on this place, see if there's anything that's grown. No, there's nothing grown here. Let's go down to Old Pagus, tell them about the news, and then we'll go up to the monastery. Just traveling around. Oh. A massive flock of white and orange birds circling above the hills, casting a shadow onto the plateau. You knock on the gate a few times, but for a minute or two nobody comes. Finally it opens with Terrier standing in the center. You see a hint of a smile in her brown eyes. It's good to see you again, Rin. She observes you for a good few breaths, then turns around and shouts tearfully, "The empty ones are gone." The locals start a commotion, gathering around the gate to hear your tale. They start an avalanche of questions, but after you satisfy their curiosity, Taria's eyes are relieved. To think you convinced them, she blanks. May the right bring a rapid end upon necromancy. I happened to recover the key you gave Ariston. I'm ready to return it. Truly, her looks gets warmer. Place it on the ground. I'll pick it up later on. I appreciate your trouble. I place it on the ground. It's not going to be useful though. The door is already broken. She speaks with a mixture of amusement and repertoire. Then I'd be even more surprised you discovered it to bother with it. Well, we can still melt it. I don't remember what that key was for. I don't remember I was even carrying a jolly key. I've got a lot. Thou art no lying, that's a lot. He rubs the liver spot on his face. Once you end your tale, I'd rather see that necromancers are gone for good myself. He nods politely. But I'll put my trust in you. Although I've no judgment, I'll let the others know. Let's go down to the Elder. Although I could probably go to her, but... The old druid is sitting at the edge of the pond, staring in the distance. After you get on the ground, he gives you a hesitant glance. Many beasts are heading for the bogs, he says curiously. The necromancer spells are no more. You try to figure out how he knows, but he doesn't show you much patience. Explain. Your tale is brief and the man doesn't delve into details. You took a swing at the cause, not the symptoms. He strokes his beard, then smiles gently. We can only wait to see if your cure will work for long. His voice is warm as a soft blanket, but you act like a healer, not a pillager. Is there something that Faris could do to reunite with his parents? No, not one should he. He looks into your eyes challengingly. So he does not the wrong thing, and was rejected not for his faults, but was beyond his control. His desires is that of a sick, lonely soul. The strength of his voice starts to dwindle. But no one could pick out the words alone. In his heart, he is sitting at one of the branches that connects him to his ancestors. But the truth is, he's been tossed aside, and he needs new roots, and to let go of his longing. After a long pause, he looks at the spring, unable to hear its constant humming. Even if you were to say to him, he wouldn't listen, but once he seems lost, tell him, I'm ready to hear him out, like in the old days. I helped another druid who found a curse soil in Howler's forest garden. Your tale takes little effort than you expected it would, since the elder seems to be well aware of the spot. A shameful observed trouble. 'Tis the tomb of the nightmarish object. But it does not belong to a human shell. The gathering is more than capable of handling it. Thought we could only hope they'd be eager to find a lesson in this endeavor. He rubs his forehead right between the eyes with a pointed frown. But hope has served me little so far. You were Thal's teacher, am I right? With a loud sigh, he looks around. He's still around? Good to hear that. His voice carries pain, but he carries on. You catch a hint of shame. He carries not many good tales of our shared time, I expected. But at least you were a good teacher. I was not there to protect him, and my neighbours treated him poorly. One night he just left all by himself, yet he reached his home despite the threats of the bogs. His magic carries great potential, though from what I've heard his soul is still maturing. He looks even brighter than usual, but his voice grows stronger. If you plan to see him again, tell him I'm sorry. Not just for my daughter, but for all that violent day. I'm sorry I failed him. Well, that's sad. Well, guess I have to go back to what's his name now. Let's go Pell to the north. I go to the well and I clean up. Thank you. I enter the inn. Talk to the innkeeper. Telling you about White Marshes. Thanks, he says slowly. What exactly happened? Your story isn't long, though the innkeeper keep asking you questions about Halivus and Tharis. So that's how it is. Nice job. He gives you an encouraging nod. Though I doubt Otius will keep his word. I hope I'm wrong. Do I have anything you'd like to buy? Not too crazy about antlers. I can give you a single meal for it. We stay in touch with Hallis, so we have all the clothes we needed. I could sell it to some travelers, though, sometime. You describe how much fabric is in your possession, it'd be worth 10 coins, don't you think? I can pay you that and add 1 more coin for delivery. Deal. What else? Okay. That's all. I go back into the inn. Talk to Talia. She smiles politely. Tell her about the White Marshes. Just like that. Her voice is close to a shout. After you explain, it's quite more complicated. She struggles to listen without assaulting you with questions. Finally, you conclude your tale. And Talia chuckles weakly. Halvrin, you just made my life much easier. I can now report to Halvin that at least some of the North struggles won't require an entire squad to fix them. Just don't out my part in this. I wouldn't dare. I'd more than fine with the truth. Okay, let's sleep for tonight. So I'm not gonna get anywhere safe. You're hungry. I'm not. You sleep in a room. I've got like 23 monies. I'm very rich. Rightio. I guess we're going back to Tharius and telling him that this guy said this stuff to him. I didn't know he would have stuff to tell Tharius. I came here to leave and now I have to go back up again. It's fine. We're going to travel. Let's travel all the way up. It'll take 5 hours, but that's okay. I guess I can tell Galrock's people about it. The frogs fill the bogs with their song hidden amongst puddles as you ride down the path. Thaddeus welcomes you by widely spreading his arms and creepers. I still smell the pagus. Otius knows all things priest, has washed his ears for you. He laughs, making his amulet rumble. I must say, I wasn't expecting worse things from city folk after all the stories I've heard. What did you tell him, RoadWarden? I answer a few of his questions, enough for him to grow bored of the exchange, but even then he keeps wondering about this edge. I have a message from your old teacher. He listens to it without a word, then reaches for one of his bracelets. Playing with wooden beads, he grunts a few times. His eyes grew absent. I was happy when I got here. You know, not a loafer was ready to learn all their ways. But back then, the priest Otius saw any spells coming from pagans as disgusting in the right size. His tone swings between mocking and begrudging. Bah, I wouldn't let go, and the others outvoted him. Those were very different times. You may want to have a chat with the old druid. You try to repeat the hermit's words, but coming from her lips they sound awkward, preachy. They branch off the warlock without leaving any visible dent. Ma, 'tis far away, we'll think about it. Maybe 'tis too far away. Let's go to... Have I told everybody? I think I have, except for these guys. Let's go to Galrock's. We shall tell them as well. I go talk to this lady. I follow him inside. Bring you news of the White Marshes. She exchanged looks with a surprise with her guards and reaches for a wax tablet. Do tell! She interrupts your tale often, seeking lies or omissions. Finally, her violet eyes smile gently. Not only did you deal with the danger, you solved the bridge between our villages. She notes something on the wax tablets. You're free to spread the news. Well, I didn't need your permission anyway. I was already spreading it. You guys are like the last people to know, other than the hunter. She tells the man in front of the table, then looks at you. We'll catch a much deeper rest tonight, Rin. You're exceeding expectations. Oh my word, they gave me a new quest. She runs her eyes over the new, then glances at a guard in front of her. There's something that may be an easy task for a traveller. Clarify that doesn't talk too much. She reaches for one of her tablets and nods approvingly. Right, I want you to look around, not ask around. There's a group of spices and tools merchants that went to reach our villages. Excuse me. Some time ago, yet they found silence, most likely taken to the frogs by some beast. Keep your eyes open. Maybe you'll find their shells or even better wares. Once you learn what happened, I'll pay you. She starts to hum to herself, reaching for a pouch from her desk. 5 coins! Don't speak with the other tribes about it. She stares at you harshly. We must keep this between ourselves, and if the merchants turned out to be nowhere to be found, I'll pay you as well. Well, I already know what happened to them. Her glance is grim, but a simple I see. She reaches for a pouch, then pulls out 5 dragon bones in a single row and pushes them towards you. You don't sound surprised. She glances at her granddaughter, who is, without even noticing, has lowered her crossbow. I asked Galia about this very thing I did, she admits. I don't think you're mistaken, RoadWarden. It's a natural step of her path, but it means she lied to her people. And I won't be able to avoid the confirmation. Still, I'm grateful to learn about it. You didn't just speak with you, and you got betrayed. Ooh, she looks at her granddaughter and nods at the exit. She frowns, raising her crossbows gently, but observantly leaving the room. The perfumed man moves his hand to grasp the sickle of his sword as if trying to construct for the sudden lack of assistance. Compensate. Galia was born and raised in this village. Many of those who joined her band used to be our neighbours, or of their spouse. We aren't talking here about some strangers I'd put a bounty on. Understood. You discuss for some matter of time. You focus on the links between the highwaymen and the rare visits of the trading caravans. I'm sure you've heard about the squad of soldiers sent here by the city. You conclude. Their fight at Hager's Path were pretty much crushing them. Once the officials learn that there's yet another group of armed bandits that are fully supported by a critical trading partner, that's all, it won't bode well for your current lifestyle. She listens carefully, and her answer is close to a whisper. Tell me, what is your purpose, stranger? I don't want to say that. I guess I have to. It's time for your village to join forces with Halvan. If Guardia is ready to put your lives in danger, you need to have soldiers at hand. The crossbow woman peeks inside, as surprised there's no bloodshed yet. Sarai reaches to it with nothing more than a glance, staring at you like a statue with her clamped fingers. Is this too late to admit? I'm sure this is where you would have been pleading me with all your talk. I'm ready to ask the council to listen to you. I am. She can't completely hide the pain in her voice. There's been more and more talk of such treason in the recent years, as our lives grow harsher than they've been in many decades. And we've even grown apart from our neighbours. That is true, you hate everybody, just like the other person did. She then notes something on a tablet, then gives it to the guard, sharing a telling nod with him. But I aren't sure yet what's right, stranger. The elders and hard workers won't be sure either. You'd have only one chance to convince us, and that we should push our family members and friends towards a cliff. Instead of obeying some outsider from the city, I don't envy your task. Seeing the kind look of her grandmother, the young woman returns to her chair, but, at least for now, lets her crossbow rest. Very well, I'll speak with you when I'm ready to face the council. My patient runs short, outsider. She glances at you. Are you sure there's no other matter that can't wait? What do you need? Say that the people of Old Pagus have accused you of thievery, but you already know that Elia lied to you about the different events. Your words are harsh, outsider, but hard to argue with. Alright. I haven't much of my own. She glances at the sleeves of her dress, like cups, like seashells. But I'll present this case to the council. You've already helped us learn that the tool-selling caravans won't take their share of our fish. So we may have a few barrels to spare. Though I can't promise you much. I can't promise you anything, actually. It's enough to save lives. She glances at her granddaughter, then lets her fingertips tap against each other, and sighs. Not a large price, I do my best. And I'll vote yes, says the guard with a wide grin. Save. Do I need votes from everybody in the village? Is this what's happening? Do I have a quest for this? Oh no, do I not have a quest? Okay, support of Gal Rocks. I'm allowed to speak with the Council of Gal Rocks and state my case why they should cut ties with the bandit. Considering that there are many bandits sharing blood with the village, I've only one chance to convince them. I may be able to share some good arguments from my side once I'm prepared to speak with before nightfall. The session might take a few hours. I have a day to spare. It's before nightfall. Let's give it our best shot. So you say, Saria moves away from the tablet slowly. Table, not tablet. With a tired smile, stands up, though it doesn't make her much taller. After seeing the head woman's nod, the crossbow woman leaves her weapon, leaning against a chair, and runs outside. It will take a while before my granddaughter gathers everybody here. A few of the elders like to pretend she's not there. I'll pick up some berries with honey for us. She heads upstairs, followed by the unusual creaking of planks. The perfumed guard approaches you with an awkward smile. I won't ask you to leave your blade in another room, but it would be impolite to face the council. Well, he points at your axe and garrison, like a thud. Oh, I take a deep breath. Here you go. It's fine, we can meet them on their terms. Many sweetened berries later, the room feels crowded by companions with your regular visits, even though there's less than a dozen people spread around the benches or sitting on the stairs. You're told to sit on Saria's chair, facing the entire council now. Oh, yay. They're mostly ignoring your presence, chatting about the increasing frequency of gatherings such as this one. We're not getting any younger, darling, an elder announces to you as the previous fish header. Saria responds to him with a warm smile than any you've seen from her. That's all right. Nobody here gets older quicker than I do behind this desk. She responds, and the man chuckles. You meet some of them already, but the perfume man is eager to announce every newcomer to you, dropping many names and roles that they are responsible for. Most of the elders ascribe to you by their past trades. Artisans, overseers, fighters, one storyteller, drawing a lot of attention with her whores, yet sorrowsome jokes. Even the faces you recognize look different, wearing elegant tunics, robes, dresses with jewelries that, for once, don't get in the way of their tiresome labor. Aside from them, there are a few young people. There's head salters, head coppers, head cook. Even though their backs are stronger, they seem more timid, not willing to interrupt the neighbors in their long, decade-old conversation. I observe the door waiting for the last soul. Excuse me, I can't breathe. Gasping for air, Thaddeus runs inside. Still unbuckling his belt, explaining that there was more work to be done. Nobody seemed surprised. Yet another artisan pats his shoulder. Come, have some moneyed berries. His predecessor invites him loudly, but Sullivan claps their hands a few times, encouraging everybody to take a seat. She stands at the spot just next to the desk. For the first time, you notice the subtle scent of violet flowers that surround her. We have a rough hours ahead of us, we do, she starts. The RoadWarden wants us to reconsider the ties between our village and Garlia's group. It's our group as well, the Fletchers step in. After the head daggers scoff and start to respond, the head woman claps again. We aren't arguing right now, she runs her eyes over the crowd. Over the summer, we've had a chance to present our views thoroughly. Let's allow the outsider to speak in peace, and once this is done, she meets your eyes, we'll open the discussion. And move to the vote so the officials of Halavan know our answer before autumn. The puzzled looks and murmurs make you think not everybody here was aware of the scope of the topic at hand. But you don't get much time to express their discontent. So speak, outsider, will you? Starts one of the fishers, and the hall quiets down. You discuss your search with the lost merchants and the bandits' willingness to act against the council's orders. The response is mixed. Some observe you with disbelief, others with anger, but the first words you hear belong to Palfus, the head fisher. I'm sure they had a good reason. Reason or not, good or not, we need those tools, we do. And she took them back south, don't it? The copper raises her voice. You better learn how it makes iron and spices out of thin air, adds one of the elders, for we won't see that caravan again. After a few moments of back and forth, the head woman tells you to move to the next thing, so everybody has a broader understanding of before they get bogged in details. Even though Garlia's band knows about combat, they wouldn't lift a finger to secure the tunnel in the south. It would really surprise me. It's almost 3 hours. Looking after the roads is harder than it sounds. Stranger starts the woodcutter. We've sent a dozen souls every season. Less cleaning, cutting, it wasn't an easy task. Hearing that, you frown. You mention some of the deeds you are responsible for on the eastern roads alone. How is it that I could do all these things by myself, while she has an entire group familiar with the woods and yet does nothing? The silence is cut by the absent voice of Luma, the digger. She wants the wilderness, she does. Holy heads, don't click on that. You have no doubts your support of bands is justified, as to most of people know. Right to know the truth about everything she does. She's far from being a treasure hunter. Think about old Halva. Every bandit falls from their desires, brings only. One of the two chuckles. We don't merely hide things from them. We straight out lie. For lying gets more votes. His voice dips with demeanor, but Salvan silenced him with her stare. Most of them know more than you think, outsider. She turns her head towards you. Don't expect all of them to push away their families. When I moved here as a young girl, I saw my parents only 3 times before they died. Another elder looks at you with reproachfulness. At least I could see my boy every season or so, and he's not a murderer. I will not apologize for him to anyone. A few people nod in agreement, observing their own boots. Elmer Quintus. She threatened him. Saltier speaks with disbelief, but Salvan takes the claim seriously. If we were to speak with this man sometime in the future, are you sure his testimony would not reveal you're a liar? Seeing your nods, an uncomfortable grumble spread throughout the crowd. At least they protected the gate, one of the elders starts, but Fuller wears it off. They could have guarded the gate on their own, and if they were keen to do so, A half-quail is cut by the headswoman, who glances at you to go on. Are you willing? Think about no. No longer trust you, you've lost a valuable ally. They called us thieves, Perseus the fisherman raises his defense. We've done nothing to them. The perfume guard sighs and gives you a sad look. After listening to the RoadWarden, I've doubt Scarlet's betrayed. I have no doubts the bandit is to blame. She's a liar and a thief, one of the elders scoffed. Without her in the woods, we would have never been accused in the first place. Now, after all, them bandits got themselves killed by the city folk. Every missing pie would be our fault. They argue for a few minutes, but seem to be like most people are convinced there is only one possible thief of statue. It's getting a bit hard to read because of all these words. Arison is no longer around, and you also recognize this threat that the bandits protect, that people are afraid of her. Why do we care about Arison? You look for contempt in Donia's eyes, but her question seems to be honest and doesn't find a clear answer. Fools are afraid of anything that doesn't boil in their pot, calls the cook. Shrugs this topic off. When the bandit and I were little lasses, she wouldn't even break a squabble's neck. A few anecdotes follow, such as the one about her always caring for her parents, but Raphael calls them to shut up. Don't speak of her as if she was a child. She's not the same. She went from a tailor to a bandit, for not even a mother to a leader. Haven't you talked with her in the last few years? She wears a different soul now. Michael's look, none of them argue with the tailor's statement. I think about old Haggis. Every bandit leader falls to their own desires, bring them even more suffering than others. You share what you've learned from her, putting emphasis on what's going to happen after her death. The head cook looks out the window, speaking with an absent voice. Right, hard to believe it's been 10 years. She was meant to return after half that, remember? Yet she threatens others more, not less. How could we know she'll stop, or that she won't be replaced by She doesn't name anybody, just crosses her arms. Right now, we listen to some stories instead of what's going on. Fisher scoffs, but the old storyteller addresses him gently. Nobody's making a decision, let's merely consider the different views. The hall falls silent and the locals stare at you first, then at their head woman. After a few moments she turns towards. What is there to say? The change will come here merely sooner than we expected. We are fools to think we are the ones throwing the dices. Oh no, more words. Right, so we've listened, and we did, starts the old fisher. Those gestures grow more lax and longer when the gathering goes on, but do we trust what the outsider says? He scoffs at you. Think of our matters. Sylvie doesn't look at you, but her voice is gentle. Our neighbours see the RoadWarden as a guest, not a stranger, and we have no promises to make. All we have to do is to decide if we're ready to speak with the city officials. The Arisons haven't spoken with the RoadWarden about the trade. The city might see no point in sending their mouthpieces here at all. Arkia, the cook, mentions that from what she's heard at her dinners, you did some good for the villagers. Fotheus submits, though restfully, you have done for him exactly what he asked. One of the elders, Palpheus's grandfather, mentions you helped to offer her family Luma the digger. Says that one day when the villagers was once again needed to use the south tunnel, may it be approaching quickly, and that thanks to your help it won't take much as an effort. I look around, waiting for everybody to speak. The perfume man clears his throat. Alright, better get to the decision before we all fall asleep. I vote a strong yes, anyway. The news the RoadWarden brought to us about old Pagus is enough to convince me. Come, Rin. He nods at you and heads towards the exit. You follow the scent of chives until the man closes the door behind you and you hear the voice. You hear the thumping windows shatter on the ground on the floor of the keep. As you approach the gate, the village seems more empty than usual, but the smoke doesn't stop coming from the burnings of artisans. There's no time to stop the work. The guard tells you to stay nearby, and he places his pillow on the stairs and sits down. He observes you for some time, then takes out his unusual knife and forces his attention on a new wooden log. What are you carving? He shows you what it looks like, a few tiny planks already detached from the rest of the log, as well as 4 wheels carved cord in the center. It will be a wagon. Last time I made a wheeled fish. I'm good with wheels, he explains, giving you a warm yet sad smile. You've got a kid? New grands? Yeah, I've got quite a family, I do, but this one is for my daughter. I'm still new at crafts, but she ain't picky. You ask him how old she is, and he seems more defended and accepting. 30. She merely holds the soul of a child. She wouldn't even go into the hills, beach, or forest, but has a good imagination, she does. I used to give her simple toys, swords, figurines, but she'd rather play with the ones that can move. Wheels are the easiest for me. You spend time chatting about his experiences, and the time goes quicker. Every now and then some sort of screaming or laughter reaches you from the keep. The others than that, the closed doors and windows keep you without a clue. After more than an hour, both of you and the man are called inside. Let's go then. Okay, this is a lot of talking, guys. The eyes inside the keep are tired yet kind. You catch a few smiles, and the council sits on the benches, with one of the elders napping. Nice. Some of the younger members look longingly at the exit. They want to get out. The windows open once again, but the air is still stale. In parts of the flower perfumes, Salva is standing behind her desk, leaning on top. Welcomes you with a nod as you notice that many of her wax tablets have been switched places. Half of them open. The vote is done, she says. Yes. The vote is done. Strong yes, she says solemnly. If the bandit wants to remain one of us, she needs to bring her band here and stay free of robbery. We wouldn't trust the officials and merchants, but your words and deeds are enough to make us eager to negotiate with them. Now let's dismiss and eat something. I thank the council. Many other souls thank you, trying to make a change, while others congratulate you. The old fisher, who finds himself something stronger to drink, finds it necessary for him to take you to his side. Explain that you shouldn't trust the guilds or the priests anyway. You mostly nod, but you're not entirely paying attention. Another elder pats your shoulders, whispers that you have quite the support here, but leaves before you can ask him what he means by that. The younger members of the council help the elders across the yard as they are encouraged in friendly chatter. They forget about the gathering quickly, and the head woman stops you before you follow their lead. There's something more, Bryn, coming from her lips. Your name sounds strange. If you don't have to depart for Halvin just yet, can you pass our decision to the bandits? Sure. Who scoffs at you? What more could I give you in return? You could give me a free repair for my garrison. Great, thank you. I have nothing more to say. Okay. Oh boy. Before you leave the hall, Sarah asks you to wait. The people of our village are sharing good rumors about you, she starts. Quite a feat it is. If you are much of a hard worker, as I've heard, maybe you'll find a way to restore something we've lost to an actual vagabond, not a young lad. Calls himself Pyrus. Oh no. Okay. Was staying with us most half a summer ago. One day left before sunrise, carried away our iron ingots. Her granddaughter gives her a silent but painful look. If he has any sort of wits, I'm sure he left the peninsula long ago, through the eastern roads, or died trying. But maybe he was dumber than I thought. You ask what exactly she wants you to do, and she responds without hesitations. Merely return the ingots. It's nothing more than crude iron, but something that is murders each other for. But still, she points at you. A sin worthy of a crowd, and believe me, not the first robbery that has happened to us. Let's go fix my stuff. What can you do for me? Yeah, now she's closing the shop. Okay. Oh, okay, there we go. I go to sleep. If it lets me. Just plug this in, see if that helps. Sleep? Yes. Sleep in a house, we have coin to spare. And now we have to travel again. Okay, let's go, I guess. Okay. It's just now just passing on messages, which is sweet. Oh, day 66. I don't need money though. Yeah. So, the bandits and this guy. Okay. Let's take 5 hours and we'll travel down to the bandits, guys. Reginald, don't break your leg again. I head to the bandits camp. Oh boy, they're gonna like me, aren't they? Let's save. They're gonna love me so much. Making everybody hate me. Okay, let's enter the hamlet. The council has held a meeting to cut ties with your band. She freezes, then looks at you with a puzzled frown crossing her healthy eye. A meeting? What are you talking about? You summarize the situation and she looks at her boots and her hands on a sign. You're trending on shaky ground if you think I can't connect this whole thing to your recent arrival. You're responsible for what's going on here. She meets your eyes and the fury you find in her look makes you step back. So why are you here? To beg for my forgiveness or to bring the good news? From now on, don't count. She raises... brave enough to tell her the truth. Okay, nice. She raises her eye and puts on her glove. Brave of you to bring me this news in person. I appreciate that. She clenches her fist a few times and glances at the other woman of the band, then at you again, and lets out a sigh. I should kill you, outsider. You lowered my guard, and now I'm further away from my goal than I was last spring. She steps closer and looks at the palm of her four-fingered hand. Now covered with leather, after a few quick heartbeats, she turns around. Don't ever get in our way again, or I'll break your neck on sight. Farewell. Okay. She grunts her heavy steps accompanied by a constant sound of heels and males following her to the pond. One of her men grabs the collar of your garrison and pushes you towards the gate. Ride west back towards the gate. Let's go. Shortcut. What? You uncovered the entire road through the heart of the forest. Oh, nice. Let me save. You see a strange creature in the distance, no smaller than a boar with a troll-like posture and a dense red fur. It turns away from you, crouching near a fresh deer carcass, tearing away the fleshes and stuffing its mouth with it, just in case you try to ride around it, but you get lost again, avoiding the trap-like corridors of falling trees. At one point you reach a bright glade with sparse bushes and colourful meadows. With some of the plants bear berries that shouldn't be trusted, but you also find a couple of tasty-looking green and yellow apples, plums, and old strawberries. You spot no large creatures, just a few monkeys, rats, birds, terrified of your presence, trying to keep their distance. Shall we save and see if it works? Okay, didn't work. You walk into the sunlight, putting harder in the bottom of the bags. The orchard is peaceful, but time to time the distant swirls make you flinch. The memory of the rim beast tearing its prey to pieces returns to you with a loud rustle. You spot the movement at the edge of the glaze. Once the creature glances at you, it leaps forward. But not alone. Another identical beast shows up nearby. Cream-coloured cat. Smaller than a grey wolf, but making spectacular jumps. Let's get out of here. Let's travel. Let's go down to here, and then we'll go back up to Gal Rocks, question marks everywhere. We gossip for a bit. Then I enter the village. Here you go. You can have a coin, and let him work in peace. Let's go to the main square. I go talk to this guy. I cross my arms and straighten up. Give me back the iron you took from the people of Gal Rocks. He instantly reaches towards his belt, but after taking a glance at the villagers, he raises his hands, as if trying to calm you down. Come on, Roadster. Without it, I have nothing to sell once I head to get south. Don't try to play me. You stole it long before you lost your belongings. He raises his voice. Aye, but I need it more than some fishers. He looks at you with contentment and scratches his scarred face. Have mercy, let me keep it. I'll be in your debt. My thinker is heavier than muscles, but I know how to use my bolster. I can help you on a dangerous trip. This ingot is my only path forward. Very well. No, just give me the iron. Without another word, he nods for you to follow him to his bags. You keep a hand on your blade, just in case. But the man turns back to you with a block-sized bundle. He unwraps it slowly, allowing you to see the dark iron. You take it from him, at first underestimating how heavy it is. But Pythras doesn't risk taking the opportunity. You step back, and he doesn't meet your eyes. Goodbye. Trader, do you need anything? I brought goods to sell. Earning it. Forget it. What do you have for sale? I'm good. Okay. Let's leave the square. And let's travel again. We can't go up there. Let's go to Foggy's and then we'll sleep the night. Let's just go to sleep. It's late. And it's the same as before, so time for me to go. I'm gonna eat some food, because I'm hungry. Turn. Then we travel to Gal Rocks, and then we'll finally go back down to the Palador. Oh my word. I go to follow him inside. I believe this ingot belongs to your people. She opens her toothless mouth in silence, and her granddaughter stands up to have a better view. And what do we do with it now? The guard laughs, put it on a scale, name it honest soul. Sylvie knocks the ingots with her knuckles, then reaches for the small sack on her desk. Makes the nails we need, of course. I've already written this iron off. I wouldn't have guessed it would have taken one traveller to fix the misdeeds of another. 10 coins is about half the price you would have gotten from other traders, and that's a fair fee, I think. She doesn't wait for your response, asking the crossbow woman to pass you the pouch, and takes the ingots away to the armory. As her granddaughter runs the stairs, you notice every plank she steps on lets out a large creak, on purpose, no doubt, I think. You can also tell one of your neighbours to overlook the unusual fees or duties they'd ask of you. Do you need anyone's help? I don't need any favours. Sorry, I'm good. You wouldn't buy fish merely with a frame? She starts slowly, but then nods. I'll mention it soon to the council of of our elders and head workers. Goodbye. Oh, they're offering me a place to stay. That's sweet of them. So she looks away as she gets back to the scrolls and tablets. You are free to visit us again. Once you're done in the city, we'll offer you a regular job, meals, and a warm bed. That's all. Even though she pretends to ignore you, both the crossbow woman and the nearby guard send you a warm smile. I nod. I'll consider it. Let's travel. It's morning. Let's go down to the belt of the north. And we're gonna do a hard save. That was a long ride though. Let's finish the final quest. And we're like done. That's really weird. Shall I wash up before I finish the final quest? Because I stink and everything. I enter the inn and go talk to Talia. Summer is almost over. We should travel back to the city. She shrugs. Well, if there's any city rat who's going to criticize me for getting out of here before the end of my watch, they can jump into the sea. I don't care. I can head back whenever. Okay, this is the end, guys. Thank you for the likes. I don't know if you liked again, but thank you. Finish your adventure. Are you all packed and ready? There's nothing more I can do, so yeah. I think I'm all packed and ready. That's sad. I'm ending it. Oh, that's very sad. Okay. She rests her hand on her knees and straightens up. I am if you are. You look outside. It's too late to ride to the other hills of Hag's Hills. You could leave first thing in the morning. Let's introduce you to Reginald. The owners recognize you in the Bless the Empress Inn. This time around, you get a few dragon bones to spare. You can spend the night in a proper bed, holding a mug of steamed pigeon soup. The days fade away slowly, and Talia by your side, you can't simply outrun the autumn predators. A few times your journey gets violent, still she's a good companion and eager to kill boredom with an idle chat. After the fighting I did in the north, the road isn't so tough. I wonder if it would be the last time I stayed in a roadside inn. After 2 days, the road gets wider and harder. You meet the first patrol of soldiers, as well as spot the familiar stone statues of local heroes. We're here, says the lieutenant, in the last village you visit before the city walls. Without explanation, she approaches a few red-haired farmers that observe you curiously from the benches in front of the pit house. After exchanging a few words with them, Talia glances towards you. The RoadWarden is who should be thanked for finding him. The strangers keenly listen to your tale, then with smiles clouded by grief thank you for your bravery. A man looks younger than the rest, can't stop his tears once he hears his pa has been spared the cursed fate, and has found his end in flames. Oh, this is Ariston's family. I forgot he has a family. That's strange. I've read that. After a silent yet delicious meal, you resume your journey, carrying with you their names and invitation. Fresh and clean. Yes, nice, fresh and clean. Maybe I'll meet with them in spring. Yeah, maybe I'll meet with them in spring. Boy, this is a long ending sequence, guys. After taking care of some chores and meeting a few friendly faces, you leave your mount in the stables, which, as it often happens, are almost empty. In Halavan, every street seems to be more crowded than an entire northern village. You frown the moment you hear the busy markets. You may be back home, but you need a few days to get used to the local scents, smells, and the overwhelming lack of green. Oh, my forests. You take your equipment to the Black Wood Corner. It's a dangerous alley, but you know a place where a coin will keep your bundles untouched. The Boarhead Inn. I wonder if these are things we could have changed as we were going throughout. You listen to the rumors, but as the minutes go by, nobody approaches you or asks you for help. The trade goes fine. You hear the city chief has a daughter now. New ships are ready to sail, taxes are coming in. The beasts of the harbour keep bothering workers, but there has been no deaths recently. I think I've done the outcome. When I was talking to the people, I not only was figuring out what they were going about, but I was also figuring out Halavan. And so what I said decided the fate of this place and what it was like, which is very interesting. Excuse me. I listened carefully. Maybe somebody has a job for me. You ignore the glowing, drunken crowd, so familiar to you, and get a good night's sleep. You head downstairs and ask for the remains of the last day's supper. Mutant stew, a piece of rat pie, yum, rat pie, a mug of Cliffrin. You listen to the Emperor's must, the hums of the old times coming from the window. Halavan is returning to work. When the messenger shows up, you let out a sigh. The merchants want to see you in an hour. You spend some time at a small local bathhouse. You won't be allowed in. You won't be allowed in the one for the rich folk, and prepare your somewhat clean outfit. In the streets, you blend in with the city folk. Working folk. On your way, the familiar faces spare you a few nods, but as always, city folk are too busy trying to meet ends meet. I buy Reginald a few apples on my way back. He deserves a treat. After a few hours of exhausting examination, you lean against the wall, observing the arguing leaders. Their jewels and colourful fabrics could provide many northern families, maybe even pay a few strongholds. They wouldn't recognise the priest of the United Church as if it wasn't one of their familiar faces. At least you've had more luck than the poor wretch, one of the traders mentions. No one here remembers Arison's name. The news you brought from the island is of great value. You ask for something to clear your throat. Your detailed description of the peninsula has made quite an impression. You may be able to ask with a cartographer later and get in touch with so many northerners to help you describe the complex webs of connections. You fill the gaps in your report. You discuss the recent appearance of the trading caravan, the partnership with the Enchantress, your familiarity with the heart of the woods and the rumoured access from the coast, the copper vein, the shelter by the northern road, the mine in the south. Still, your deals with the tribes that will have the greatest impact on the decision. I recollect the bizarre questions of the villagers. Seeing the opened letter from Howlers raise a few eyebrows, the promise of future collaboration sparkles curiosity. So, it is the richest village in the north, even if it's led by pagans, the priest summarized. Though, lying to them about the fishing hamlet will hinder our negotiations. What happened to Steep House? Your explanation makes the city folk frown, but the mention of Thalfus losing a position has raised a few voices. A priest placed her chin on her hands. Well, the druids are not going to greet us with open hands. We won't be able to do much there. Continue. Learning about old Pagus has worried the officials mostly, with the thought of you could have brought the illness with you. Nice, I wasn't allowed in there, but okay. After some time, they discuss a promising future. Putting a tribe away from the advantages of distraction wasn't on the warden's list of duties, but is a very welcome surprise. You heard from one of the artisans. If we were able to decide to move forward with our investment, we could bring a few sketches to the village with our first spring caravans. Gaining the palate's trust is great help, Monk exchanged nods with best-dressed priest. We would be glad to visit the place you described. Having the opportunity to send pilgrims to the library would bring more life to those roads. According to the reports of the city folk, look at the wax tablets. Talia, I believe. The White Marches is using cells of the dead. After you explain the issue was not only solved, but also most likely open the village to the outside world. The Inquisition questions keep on coming one after another for half an hour. Too bad the heretics is still around, sums up a priest, but at least we don't have to send the purging squad for now. You draw their attention to the vast pellet field. The artisans start to discuss the possibilities. The room gets a bit warmer. After hearing your visit to the creek has opened gates for further negotiation, the council's curiosity rises. A few of the members have not even been aware of the tribe's existence. So you have not just brought opportunities, but also promises, says one of the traders. Perhaps we could indeed use their weaknesses to our advantage. These guys are all very much cutthroats. Politics, guys. You gotta like it. You were there when confronted with Talia's reports, now written down, about the dangers of the eastern trails. After the reassuring tale of your deeds, one of the clerks threw the tablets towards a bored guard. Sounds like the trail could be tamed after all. News of the relationship between Sgal, Rox, and the band sparks a long discussion, but your reassurance that the issue has been taken care of receives a small welcome. According to the scrolls, they used to be of great value to the guild, said one of the traders. Having the larger coastal village open to negotiation presents a great opportunity. At least reaching the village won't be too difficult now, with the tribe ready to restore its tunnel, added an official. But why would we even head to the village if we've almost knew nothing about its wares? Another trader chips in frustration. What should we expect difficulties from the tribe of the Green Mountain? You asked at the end of the meeting. You explain. Mostly keep to themselves, are not willing to accept any messages from the city. In return, you're mixed with a mixture of relief and disbelief. I notice that somebody's looking at me. The oldest soul at the table, who started her life in the guild as a simple innkeeper, keeps smiling at you. What did you think we should start, Rin? Where do you think? One of the Arisons sip in. We need to discuss this in detail, of course, but we can't bring guards builders to all the villages at once. Since you know the peninsula better than everybody else, where do you think would be the best starting point? Pagus has a lot to offer the monks to secure loyalty. A clerk puts a wax tablet on a top pile, then opens another one, letting out a long sigh. I keep writing the peninsula. Does it have any name? It's one I can think of. What would you like to call the peninsula? I can give it a name. I'm not prepared. It's in the north, isn't it? Imagine me calling it the Northern Range, and then it's finding it's in the south. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Oh, what's the name for it? I forgot it. Stab it. No. Shire is the second one, that's fine. But what's the other name? Didn't do that right. Name's that mean. not sure. Northern Shire? Oh, yep. Northern Shire. I want to say Shire. Shire's a nice name. Oh, more reading. After 3 days, you take part in a brief meeting. RoadWarden complete their missions. Nice. In the guild's chambers, you're welcomed by a few council representatives. We're going to move forward with the investment. You finally hear your services were much appreciated. You return to the streets with a wooden casket, heavy with dragon bones. It will provide you and Reginald until the summer. My efforts won't go to waste. RoadWarden. It's made by one person? Wow, okay. The flow of merchants and soldiers and explorers and supplies bring many changes to the north. While some of the tribes try to stay independent, they can't resist the temptation of new inventions, crops, and security. After a few generations, the sparse settlements were from the other regions of the peninsula, with safe, strong walls and roads and regular visitors. The route following the Western Trail would greatly benefit the dwellers of the north. After a few more years, they moved to Halavan, living off their saving. Occasionally, mercenaries worked and forming experienced squads. The inn was sold to the city officials and remains one of the few shelters in the dangerous north. Why is it on fire? Oh no, it's not on fire. That roof looked like it was on fire for a second. One of the new guards, Talia, who worked at the Pelt soon after losing her squad, seeking stable work amongst the hunters. Unlike her new crew, she didn't cross the Hag's Hills again. Instead, she found work as a woodcutter in Gale Rocks. After banishing Thalius and limiting the influence of the village guards, the druids led Howler's Dell by themselves. Drifting further away from the customs accepted among the 10 cities, they allowed the caravans to ride through the village and exchange ware, but has little interest in growth. It looks different. Look at that. So cute. Lacking in resources, the village could never limit its residents to other villages. For the most part, the gates keep the priests, bands, drifters away, and so the next generation continue to pray to their ancestors. However, the other villages grow in power. The significance of the formerly rich village in the north dwindles. Arika never forgives the sins of her neighbors. Afraid to face her mother, she decides to leave the peninsula in spring, forming a group of adventurers who are eager to save innocents' lives even without pay. While she couldn't reverse the damage of this deep house, her noble deeds helped her spend her nights in peace. Steep House stood in silence, avoided by caravans that cut through a new path through the haunted clearing. Before it faded away, the people of Howler's Dell placed a humble stone statue of a tree torn by lightning striking. While it expressed regret they could never atone for their authorship. We're going through everybody. The tribe of Old Pagus lost many lives to the plague, but supplies brought to them by their friends at Gale's Rocks helps them overcome the harsh winter. Thanks to the revitalized trade route, the locals returned to their crafts, providing essential materials to the growing security of the northern roads and settlements. Their famous status soon reaches the houses in the city. The tribe keeps their savings for the darker days, but many years will pass before they feel hunger again. Tara stays in the village, but rejects the further responsibilities of a leader. Returning the power to the elders, she spends a few years patrolling the roads, until wounded by a were-badger. These were-badgers. They're everywhere. She becomes a combat instructor. Quintus stays on the wall for the first few nights of autumn, but then, lured by hunger and got caught out by an unusually patient ant. For the sport of Halvan, the monks complete the library in stone during the following century. While it was indeed visited, there's more names. Visited by a few groups of pagans, monks, poor planners, and distrust towards the city architects leads to a disaster. Oh. After a violent earthquake, the mountain collapses under its own weight. Okay. Sorry, guys. Oh, these look okay. Odysseus keeps his word and steers clear of black magic, stepping into the background of local politics. Oh, great. He guides his neighbors spiritually. He no longer claims to be a prophet, though. The people of the White Marshes were steadily growing in comfort, not only trading with city folk, but also offering their services as guards to caravans travelers, gaining more from such journeys than they'd ever would from their unusual soil. However, Halvan's short-sighted leadership hinders Halvan's investments, and his tribe struggles long after his death. Thyras upholds his longing for his family yet another year until, without alarming anyone, he's left to see the hamlet in the southern caves. Stayed with him for another few seasons, fighting shame and resentment, he finally found peace in letting go of his past, and found himself a new home in the distant wetlands of the south, where he was valued for his impressive talents and his quirk was seen as harmless. There goes more people. The caravans made all the difference to Foggies, who used the dragon bones to pay for supplies and help that was needed to build proper wall. Nice. And then the first new buildings of her growing hamlet. While the exhausting combination of running the shelter and building this new structure finally stopped her aging heart, she spent the last 2 decades of her life being louder than ever, filled with goals and ambitions. The place known as Foggy's Inn stands to this day on the banks of Foggy Lake, run by the tribe of the Creeks. Until using the pay he got from the RoadWarden to seek. Soon Lee left the tavern, only to get mauled to death by a pack of spotted wolves. Okay, sorry buddy. Alan, on the other hand, learns a few things from hunters and works as the inn's head trapper until the end of his days. 1 person got a bad ending, I mean 2. 3 maybe, I'm not sure. The vicious wear badges. Their badges. There are their wear badges. There are their wear badges everywhere. A lot of reading, nice job, thank you. Thanks to the new supplies gathered through trade, children of Creeks grew in silence and comfort. The guild brought experienced tamers, fur markers with them, helping the locals mimic the techniques of elders, but also the discouragement of any farming or fishing. After a decade, the village was completely independent on purchasing supplies from the outside, but managed to stick to its usual customs. Alpha quickly realized that keeping the road safe was much better than earning dragon bones and selling his pretty chairs and tables. While he wasn't a fighter, he often joined merchants traveling the peninsula, exchanging news and suggesting new inventions. In the meantime, he was gladly carved with the shape of animals on cups and plates. Alfred, shaken by what happened to his friends, spent a few years traveling with caravans, learning from other tribes about more efficient disciplines, way of organizing hunts, foraging trips. While it wasn't easy for him to influence his family, his efforts saved many lives for the younger generations. Oh. Joanna has a special reference here from the staff team, I wonder. People of Gar Rocks needed little. After selling the excess fish and salt, they received enough crops and tools to prosper. Sticking to their familiar edge of the world in the years to come, their days were good, for the most part, remained the same. Though through difficulty, the roads leading through the heart of the forest were restored, maintained by a combination efforts of soldiers and locals. While she had no longer had a tribe's support, the bandits refused to abandon her new target, the people of Hallisdale. She bothered them a few seasons, but once her supplies ran short, she got reckless and got caught by the village guards. She died with a sickle sword in her hand. The enchantress placed put the bronze rods to use, sending her creations beyond the boundaries of her sight. Bored with the work of having all the resources she needed, she was often tempted to reach for a snake bite, but instead started to tag along with her golems, observing the peninsula from their shoulders. Oh, she got a happy ending, yay! I'm so happy, her thing made me so stressed out. After a few decades, a group of adventurers reach her house to ask her for help. They tell stories of many wonders they saw. They claim that the witch has refused to bother with the place outside. The tribe of the Green Mountain worry about the growing presence of the city folk, ended up blocking the trail that connects it to the rest of the peninsula. Every once in a while, the rumors of pagans of weird tongues seen by the eastern trail spreads amongst the merchants, but a keen listener would notice that such trails always differ when it comes to describing the tribe's clothing, weapons, and skin. Rin, the RoadWarden of the Northern Shires, tried to get used to the routine of the city folk. After years of struggling to provide for their palfrey, they hit the road again, this time without support of the Merchant Guild. But without understanding they couldn't save Dragonwood on their own, the rider aided many tribes by putting their own well-being and safety above their sacrifice. After a few years, their palfrey too exhausted to continue their travels, they settled into one of the befriended villages, spending their remaining lazy decades as a guard. Nice. Can I make carvings as well? And that's it. And that's it. That's the end of it. We've finished. It's like 4 hours. It's like 40 hours, I'm pretty sure it took. Thank you for all the likes, guys. Thank you for stopping in for the last bit and several of the other bits, Wade. It's nice to see you coming in and everybody else who came in. I for sure can't remember everybody's name, but thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing Sunday, question marks. Probably a demo, honestly. I was looking at doing demos on Sunday and then going back to a stream on Mondays for you guys. All good, Wade. Thank you for stopping by. It's been nice chatting with you. Hopefully your headache is gone and you have a good rest of your night. Yeah, I enjoyed this one, I have to say. I'll go back to the other screen. But it was very nice. It was quite good. I did enjoy it. We're reaching 5 hours in 5 minutes. Not 5 hours, what? We're reaching 3 hours and 5 minutes. There we go. Yeah, I'll figure something out to do for next week. And Sunday will be a demo for you guys that I want to go check out. Yeah. Thank you guys for saying. I quite like that. I'm going to recommend that game to everybody else now. I will recommend it to as many people now. Okay. Good night, guys. Or good day. And I will see you next time.